Hi, hello. I'm Dilina. So first of all, I must claim I'm not a designer. So unlike Sophia or Sankar, I don't have things to show, but I have a small confession, reflection to do. So to begin with, I want to give you a small task. So imagine you are given the chance of giving an award for 5 best designs in the world, any time in the world. You could do either to humans, non-humans, anyone. Right? So just take a few seconds and try to come up with 5 designs that you award. Best 5 designs in the world, either human, non-human, anything. I will not ask, don't worry. Just keep it in your mind, open tab, so you come back to it later. Right? Huh? Okay, you can go. Yes, definitely. So, these just like 5 or 4 random picks from 100 greatest design of modern times. One of my favorites here is the corner one, the Hawaiian slippers, or in our case called the Bata or Bata, a lot of stuff before. So, apparently, this Hawaiian flip-flop or the slippers are designed based on a Japanese sandal called Zori sandal. So, if I ask you to raise hands, how many of you tell both of them are designs? How many of you are telling this one is the only design, this one is not? How many of you tell that there is both of them are designs, but there is sort of a hierarchy, like one is better designed than the other? I'm not going to ask again which one, but if you feel like there's a hierarchy, okay. So, a polka under, is it a design for you? What about nature? Carpenter's nest, design? I want you to introduce to something that changed or had a little bit of doubt on the way we talk about design. That is called category mistake. So this is actually by Bruno Latour, one of philosophers, sociologists. So he's talking about something called category mistake. That is when we confusing or impinging, superimposing or misunderstanding something for something else. Right? So we talked about the error of treating one kind of reality through the logics, experiences of the other logics. So I started to read about this in like 2 to 5 years back, if I'm being honest. And then I realized I started to like rethink all the things that I've been doing. So for me, I started to doubt this question. I had to start think a lot of different answers to this one. That include nature as well. So the reason I'm started pondering on this idea of category mistake was really the moment you do the category mistake, you started to ask wrong questions from wrong category. So you confuse things, different things with different other things. So for instance, when Latour was speaking about category mistake, he's take nice 2 examples. So if you try to prove that nirvana is scientifically possible, you are confusing the religious reality with scientific reality. Or if you try to ask someone, do you believe in science? Again, you are confusing scientific reality with religious reality, because science is not a matter of believing. Right? So you are confusing the 2 types of logic, 2 types of experiences. So this led me to realize that maybe I'm having a doubt, so I'm just posing the same doubt to you. We can have the dialogue at the session, right? So maybe I was confusing, impinging, thus colonizing many other realities with designs. Maybe. That is my question. So For instance, my confession. In second year, this is me in my first year, as a designer, assuming that the craft village in Kurunagala also doing design, and me as a designer could go and do better designs or else learn from them. But now I feel like they are doing something totally different. It's a different value set, different reasoning. For instance, if we go back, if I have the ability of time traveling and go back and ask why you are doing this, they may not say the same thing that we are now thinking about the craft communities. We now see it through the design lens. But for them it's a different reality. There are a lot of care in it, relationality is there. They are sometimes producing things for the sake of caring, not to solve problems, not for the efficiency. There's a different value set. So for me, it's sort of a confession for mistaking the craft directly as or superimposing design into craft. So, and then when I started to teach design at University of Morocco, history of art and design is the most hated subject. So whenever a young lecturer comes, that is the subject you get to teach because it has a written exam as well. So I started to teach history of art and design, and this is my first slide. So I was telling also Homo erectus was doing design, but now I feel like they were not doing design. We are the one who telling after learning design that they were designing, right? So if you go back and ask Homo erectus, they did not. So at a certain stage of design history, by design I'm here talking to very political, socio-geographical term. It started to evolve from a certain era, and it started to get really spacious, very general, so we could apply it to anything, right? That's when we start, okay, stone tool is a design. Like that we started to confuse it, maybe, or try to apply it to everywhere, right? And this is again my conclusion, that is my second slide, claiming that Kingfisher is a well-designed, which is again now I feel like after learning category mistake, I was confusing the logics, two logics. I've learned design and now I'm superimposing the reality of my design into nature. To be honest, when it comes to nature, it's agnostically big. We don't know what is happening there, right? We don't know how to explain the nature, how it happens, nothing. So we as designers, after learning design, we try to superimpose the reality of design into nature, claiming that it is design. So these are the areas that I started to feel like, okay, maybe it is not the way to do it, claiming that it is design. Or craft communities are designing. This is the doubt that I started to ask, ended up being recognizing, or at least telling that, okay, I was maybe committing a mistake when it comes to talking about designs and other different crafts. This is where I led to start to read more about decolonizing design and critically looking into what it could be design and how we should recognize traditional practices. Right? So to me, decolonizing design, like for instance, if you talk about decolonizing education, in the academia itself, what you're trying to do is you try to decolonize, or whatever the Western things came into education, you try to rethink alternatively. But for me, it's a different argument I like to put forward. So when it comes to design decolonization, it's a tricky one, because design itself is built within a different value system that inherently linked with what we recognize as Western thinking. So for me, when you mistakenly recognize that we can purify colonization from design, I feel like you propose to decolonize England, right? So it's kind of a contradiction, right? So we try to decolonize things from England, but we cannot decolonize England, or let's say Britain, right? Something like that. So for me, decolonizing design is about consciously using design so we not confuse other things or superimpose design into different value systems and therefore reducing the complexity of these systems. So that is for me the decolonizing design part. So when you do that, it's not stop you from accessing traditional communities. It's not stopping you learning from traditional communities. It's not stopping you from researching about traditional communities. But you started to do it in a diplomatic manner. So you know you are stepping from design reality into a total new reality. So you are not trying to conquer it. The word itself, diplomacy, is really nice word for me because the word, within the word itself, it recognizes there are two parties and we are inherently different and we need to deal with the two parties in a compromised manner. So if it happens similar manner, so if you started to realize, okay, design is one territory, nature is another territory. So when I'm looking at the bird's nest or when I'm looking at the kingfisher's nest, I'm moving into a different reality other than the design's reality. So I'll be very cautious, diplomatic when I'm bringing things back to the design reality. So that is about my journey towards why I started to think about decolonization. And I just wanted to ask, with your 5 words, or let's say whatever in your design or design enthusiast life, have you committed any category mistakes? We can discuss. Or perhaps you can counter-argue, no, I'm in a different paradigm that I would ready to learn more. Right, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.